Hello and welcome to Wisdom for Wannabes, the podcast that seeks wise words in business, beauty, and betterment. I'm the host, Jackie Morreale. Today's guest is someone who has quite literally been at the starting line of millions of dreams. Frankie Ruiz is the Chief Running Officer of Lifetime, the co-founder of Miami Marathon, the founder of the world's largest running club, the Miami Run Club, as well as coach to many young athletes at Bellin Prep School. But beyond the titles, beyond the races, beyond the finish lines, Frankie is a builder of community, a culture creator, a believer in movement as a force for connection. I personally looked up to Frankie since the first time I ran one of his races, which was the Miami Marathon back in 2005. And I can't believe that was already 20 something years ago.
You have that shirt?
I wish I could find it. I would have been wearing it.
I think it was cotton, maybe. Maybe it was
It
cotton.
was amazing even back then. I've seen you at starting lines, weekly roundups, consistently showing up for runners at every level, even the slow and steady ones like me. He's been a steady presence in the running world now for over 2 decades and shaping the endurance culture in Miami and very far beyond. Frankie Ruiz, welcome to Wisdom for Wannabes. It's such a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you, Jackie. Thanks for the intro, and probably introed me much better than most people would.
That's very sweet. Well, I'm just going to add some hardware to that intro. Thank you so much for this. This was a major thing that happened to me very recently, was completing your race, the Miami Marathon.
That medal looks good on you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything you do. Let's go right into the questions.
Let's do it.
For those of us who may be meeting you for the first time, can you please share your full name, where you're from, and in your own words, what you do?
Sure. I am born and raised in Miami, lifelong Miamian, never have left for more than a couple weeks at a time. Full name is Frankie Ruiz. I am better known as the co-founder of the Lifetime Miami Marathon. What I do now on a regular basis is a little bit of that and a lot of other things that have attached themselves throughout the 26 years of organizing that particular race. Most of it includes race production, event marketing, and then coaching is probably the most favorite part of my day. I also coach at a high school, and every so often I help adults here and there. I help my wife from time to time. A full ecosystem that I'm part of, and that's pretty much what I do on a daily basis. And another small part of my life, which has become now a big part, is other events besides running. Everything from producing a New Year's Eve celebration in downtown Miami for 50,000 people to a High Rocks event, to what now is going to be an Athex event in March, Halloween events. So the event world has become part of my ecosystem beyond running events, live event world.
Oh my gosh. So when exactly did you get your feet wet in the events world? Was it 25 years ago, you said?
Yeah. So I'm 47 years old.
Okay.
I
I didn't
put
mean to
that
do
out
that
there.
math, by the way.
No, that's fine. I feel like I'm 20, so it's okay. I actually had my first taste of what an event was right after Hurricane Andrew. It was roughly 1993. I must have been a freshman in high school, if I remember correctly. I produced a Halloween haunted house in front of my parents' house. I realized that I wanted to do that chaos in creating live events for people. Never looked back after that. That's what I was going to do.
Man, to be there or to see your Halloween.
1,000 people. It went on for years. We actually had 1,000 people lined up in front of my parents' house just before nightfall because it became so popular in the neighborhood. And this was before Halloween Horror Nights and everything else that happens at Universal Studios. We would block the road for several weeks, build out this haunted house in front of a few garages in front of a single family home. It was out in Lakes of the Meadows. So if anybody's listening, it's from Lakes of the Meadows.
You guys still do this on Halloween every year?
No, so I retired from that, but people still knock at my parents' house. I don't live there now, but they still knock at my parents' house during Halloween asking about the haunted house. It went on for maybe 8 to 10 years. Free event, and we were on the cover of the Herald. It was quite the event production for a bunch of kids in high school. I would do it with all the neighborhood kids.
I've been to your events before, so I know that you can't even compare any events to Frankie Ruiz events. Your operational excellence is amazing. From the second you get your registration email to all the medal unveiling events to the VIP stuff to the second you get to the starting lines, I could only imagine what your high school Halloween bash looked like for those.
It's come a long way. Come on, we'll probably still make some of the same mistakes. We're not perfect. They're live events, so you're depending on a lot of different things from the weather to a number of things that happen out there. So to anybody that's been to my events that may think otherwise, because I appreciate all the nice things you said, Jackie, I'd say we're still working on all our events. They're never perfect.
Every day's a new day, right? So, what is your favorite part of your role, if you have one, and what is your passion?
That it's never the same. Those couple weeks leading up to whatever race, even the Miami Marathon, are like, "Well, it's new this year," and I'm like, everything. And they're like, "What do you mean? It's the same course, more or less the same medal?" I'm like, "No, everything is new." And they said, "Well, why?" I said, "Because we're talking about the Miami Marathon. 18,500 runners. I'd say 70% of those have never run the Miami Marathon. So that's new. It's new just because those people are doing it." To mention that the city doesn't stop changing. So even though it might be the same route, you're dealing with a new building, a new driveway, an expanded roadway, a roadway under construction, you name it, it changes. Personalities change, cops change, fire rescue changes. I guess what I like the most is that no two events, despite them being annual events, are the same. Every day is different.
What about running for you? Do you ever get a chance to run putting all these events together? I know that you are an elite athlete yourself.
Elite. I appreciate you calling me an elite. You could have stopped at an athlete.
No, an elite athlete. You always lead the charge. So do you find time for running nowadays? Why was running at the core of this?
I don't run as much as I'd like to run. Most of my running I do together with the high school team that I coach. I'll run with them, or I try to stay with a few of them, usually towards the back these days. That's where I get most of my running done. Every couple years, I'll pick a marathon or two to do and just grab ideas from. And the last one I did was New York, but I'd be lying to you if I said I'd raced on a regular basis. I am producing races about 22 weekends a year. If you do the math, it leaves you less than half the year. If I'm not producing the race, I'm at a race, coaching kids through the race. That leaves very few weekends. Those that follow Miami's running season know that our season is only about 8.5 months long because it gets so hot out there. There aren't many races in the summer when I'm actually trained and better suited to race. So I don't do a lot unless I'm traveling.
So you probably really enjoy those non-event 30-something weekends out of the
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Deserved. In terms of the events, the community building, was there something that you learned later in the game that you wish that you had known back then when you started?
I wish I had known that running was going to be this popular. That's probably one of the things I learned the most. Besides all the life lessons along the way and working with people, I wish I would have seen the bend in the road. I wish I would have known that after COVID, things were really going to blow up the way they've blown up. I've learned that in order for an event to be successful, much like any company, it needs people that actually care beyond the nuts and bolts of the event. I appreciate now looking back all the people that touched the Miami Marathon and cared for it in the early days. Um, I wish I would have realized how much that mattered back then. I mean, I had a hunch, but I think now looking back, I should have appreciated that even more.
At what point did you kind of realize that the Miami Marathon's actually way more than just a race? Was there a certain breakthrough point?
I did start to feel that probably about 4 or 5 years into the event itself when I started to realize that people were moving because of it all year long. Whether that was bumping into somebody that said, "Oh, it changed my life." I had a few of those, but more so when I would see people out running and they're wearing the shirt, I started thinking to myself, this is more than just a single day event. This event has become part of people's lifestyle, and it became part of the DNA of the city. I had a call with homeowners association not too happy with the fact that there's noise during the start of the Miami Marathon, and I can get a sense from all those that were on the call, including the police officers and the politicians. The race is an institution now; it's part of the DNA of the city. 15 years ago, I would have hated such a call happening because it would jeopardize what the event meant, the continuity of the event. Now I'm just like, all right, we'll work with you. We're not going to make it hell for the residents because we know there's an inconvenience there. I've also kind of turned over and said, this is part of the city now. This is as if you came into Miami and you said, you know what? We don't like sand. Let's get rid of the sand now. No, the sand makes the city what the city is. You're not going to change that, right?
I completely agree. You guys have that last weekend in January covered, right? Last weekend in January always is the Miami Marathon weekend. That is Frankie Ruiz weekend. We're going to be happy. We're going to make noise. Make sure you're prepared. You take an alternative route to get home and enjoy instead of fighting. That's just me.
Or be part of it. Be part of it.
Be
Come
part
out,
of
watch,
it.
be inspired by
Exactly.
it. You don't have to be a runner to appreciate. You don't have to do what somebody else likes to do to appreciate what they do.
Exactly. There was a time when I stopped running, two little kids took a little hiatus, little pause. I remember just watching people long distance running is one of the most beautiful things ever because every single person has a story. Every single person is motivated, has invested time towards this moment that they're currently living.
Luckily, you were someone that had already experienced it before you took the break. But the untrained eye that sees a bunch of runners, they don't realize that the moment isn't the moment. The moment is not the finish line or the race itself. The lesson and the experience is everything that led up to it. Could be a full year. It could be 18 weeks. It could be several years. It could be a whole lifetime. And I think that when you're out there spectating and cheering on runners, if you can just pause and imagine what's going through that person's mind at that moment, it would probably tell you a pretty interesting story.
I completely agree. Let's talk about leadership and endurance. What has been your mile 20 moment professionally? I put this in there because for me, that mile 20 moment is where the grit comes out and you learn about yourself. Was there a moment like that for you professionally?
It was probably during that COVID period. I think that was a mile 20 moment for every race organizer, every event organizer, where not only your livelihood, but maybe the reason why some of us exist, which was to bring events to others. It kind of questioned your purpose. That's usually what happens around mile 20. You're like, why am I doing this? Why is this happening to me? Why are my legs giving out? And I think that happened for me around that time. I can't say it was an exact day, but it certainly was during that period of time. You had to decide whether you were going to stick through this or turn the corner and do something else. I stuck it out. I believed in it more. In fact, I think that was the answer. More of what we were doing before COVID is all that we needed to get us through COVID.
I can't imagine any other positive outlet during that time than running and going outside. I'm so happy that you stuck with it. And this is just the sand of Miami. It'll always be there for those of us who look forward to it every year. Do you think that you lead differently now on a race like 2026 Miami Marathon or the 305 half marathon than when you co-founded the Miami Marathon 20 years ago?
I don't still I still believe in leading by example. Early on, I was like, I can't push people to do something I haven't done myself. That goes either the race itself or jobs within the race. I can't turn around and tell anybody at the staff on the staff, hey, make sure you're picking up gel packets from the ground if I myself don't do it. And that's the way I've functioned since the beginning of my career and the beginning of my involvement in events. I can't encourage someone to do something that I don't have a full understanding of what it takes to actually do. I haven't changed in that regard. You can ask the staff, you can ask runners. What I was is probably what I still am.
Love that.
Pretty consistent.
I've seen people on your team doing their thing. Everybody has that same vibe. They're willing to pick up gel packets off the floor, to do anything that is necessary to have every person participating in your event have a wonderful experience.
Nothing's beneath me or shouldn't be beneath anybody.
So let's talk about success. What, in your opinion, defines a successful race or event?
You're never going to produce a perfect event. Everybody's experience, especially in a marathon, is going to be a little different, right? If you finish the race fast and it didn't get hot, your race was different from the person who ran 6 hours. There's also volunteer fatigue out there. Maybe your water station experience wasn't the same. The energy at the finish line maybe isn't the same. There's a number of things. It's really difficult to say an event is successful if I measured it by everybody's experience in that event. That being said, I think when an event is done and you know everything that happened behind the scenes and there weren't too many fires and so forth, you can have a good sense of like, all right, that was a good show. There are times when you guys, Jackie, you'll finish the race and you're like, that was amazing. And we're on the backside saying, no, it wasn't. You don't realize how crazy it was to pull this one off for you guys. It's going to vary what we define as a successful race. I think we have a good general sense of it when it's over. A few conversations with a spectrum of people, from the fast to the mid packers to the back of the pack to the volunteers.
I just want to give a shout out to the volunteers. I love every single one of you. Thank you for the water, the Gatorade, the gel, the spray on the knees, people who are donating their time, energy, effort to just smile. Each and every one of them were so excited to be there. I didn't see you said volunteer fatigues. I didn't see a speck of it. And
That's
after
good.
like hours and hours.
In Miami, they start earlier than in most cities. Our race starts at 6 a.m. So there's a need for these volunteers to be out there way before the runners get out there. They start their day for most of them about 3 o'clock in the morning, and they don't get back till you guys are done. Could be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They have almost a full 12 hours of being up and working.
They do a great job. So, what makes Miami so special to you?
Personally, it's special just because I was born and raised here. And my dad would probably say the same about Miami, even though he wasn't born and raised here. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that can say the same. As a city, we've got a lot that makes us unique. I haven't experienced the entire world, so I can't really say that there isn't another Miami out there, but I'd probably win most bets if someone were to try to prove otherwise. Miami's pretty unique in a lot of ways beyond just our weather. Not specifically talking about the Miami Marathon itself, but in general, I think our place is ever changing. It's a place that I don't want to say trends come out of, but trends are sorted here. I think that's something special about Miami. I'm going to throw a plug because if not, I wouldn't be consistent. The Everglades make Miami that much more special to me, at least. Our proximity to such an amazing national park is pretty special. But Miami's special too.
Something for everybody. What makes Miami runners different?
I think we're fairly resilient. Humidity can make a man out of a boy for sure. It isn't a place that can run and not respect the weather. I think that makes Miami runners a little tougher. Gotta be careful there because I'm sure some really cold weather places are the opposite.
Tough in their own way.
Tough in their own way. But I think that makes Miami runners a little different. The other thing I'll say about Miami runners is we're pretty colorful. I think the race itself shows the same. We encourage people to wear their flags and wear their cultural colors, and race shoes are bright and loud. I think that makes a Miami runner a little different. I feel like a Miami runner will probably yell louder than most runners, telling the world that they're running through this humidity and heat and flat land. That makes us different there. And we're competitive, but we'll probably skew more on the social side than we do on the PR driven side.
Are you guys still using Miami Famous as a hashtag?
We use it a little less these days, not by choice. It's just one of those things that ebbs and flows through the marketing team. But I take personal pride in that mantra or that motto, if you want to call it. It didn't make a lot of sense when I first brought it to the team. I think now it continues to be the most relevant hashtag associated with the race. My idea behind it, and you probably know this since you were around when we first started with it, is that before there were influencers, a marathon was a place where you almost felt like the star of a show. It really made for an experience that others would cheer you on as you were doing it, even though maybe you weren't the most talented runner or the most talented actress or the most talented, but that day you were the superstar. People were cheering for you along the finish line, along the way, at the start line. Your friends and family at home, your neighbors all celebrated you when you came back with a medal. So you felt famous. Couple that with the fact that in Miami, there are famous people. My idea was, hey, wait a minute. It's not that important that, I don't know, Gloria Stefan's running next to you, or in this case, this year, John Summit or Diplo or many Spanish and telenovela actresses and actors that have run our race. Those are big deals. But what's really a big deal is that you're also a big deal that day for doing this. In the day that we're living now with influencers and whatnot, those influencers wouldn't be anything without you at that race that day. They would be out there alone with their camera and saying, look what I did. Nobody would care because there weren't 18,000 people behind them. I think that motto's still relevant. The tagline is still a fun one to use. I had someone that challenged me against it. Like, doesn't even make sense. Miami Famous. Well,
has that person run the race? I'm just wondering.
I guess from a grammatical standpoint, they were trying to explain to me, it just doesn't make sense. I said, eventually it will, because when you use the word Miami, yes, it's a place, but it also describes a type of person. You are a Miami Famous person, right? Like, we have a different type of fame.
Totally get it. I'm so happy that you came up with it. Everybody who runs your races, does any of your events, or is on any of your teams feels it. Everybody feels like a celebrity. I also love that you said Miami runners are different because they're social. I've been part of these groups where everybody's social and supporting each other. I've also been running next to people who have fallen. I have fallen at mile 10. 2 people scooped me up. It was an amazing thing. There's just a feeling of community that runs really deep. Let's talk about the next generation, because I know that you're actively coaching adults, young people. Is there any wisdom that you can share with younger runners to inspire them before a race?
First off, our sport has started to skew younger. whether that's a COVID thing, a TikTok thing, but our participant base at participatory events, whether they're 5Ks or even all the way up to the half and full marathon, have brought younger people to the start line. I want other younger people to know that because they may have grown up around this misconception that it was just something that older, white, short guys with high socks used to do. And now it's everywhere, all corners of the earth. It's in Latin America, the US, Canada, it's all over the place. Young people should be encouraged because they tend to want to go where young people go as well. Even though you might be lined up alongside an 85-year-old who might beat you, the
True.
truth is that there are a lot of young people running these days. And my message to those that aren't running and are young to give it a shot. Sometimes I hear this when I'm out on the promotional trail, whether it's giving a talk to a corporation or at a run club. Someone says to me, I wish I would have found running earlier. And I want people to discover this form, not only of exercise, but of sport as early as possible. I'm not saying that a 5-year-old has to go and run a marathon, but I am saying though that the parents of that 5-year-old should be guiding them into something that they can do for the rest of their life that's inexpensive, accessible, inclusive, and it is not a punishment. It's something you can celebrate, whether you run on your cross country team or your track team at school. It's something you can do at a run club. You can start your own run or your own run club. Don't wait till you're 40 to find it. But if you're 40 and you find it, that's good too.
Exactly. What do you look for in emerging athletes? I agree. Running is the foundation for every other sport, really. It is celebratory. What mindset might set an emerging runner apart?
I think it's the same thing that would set them apart at work or at school, which is a mindset that I'm all in at trying to be the best at what I'm doing. And how you know you're in that mindset is when you're not necessarily doing at that moment, but you're thinking about how to get better at it when you're not doing it. That's the way I think about coaching. That's the way I coach my athletes. It's not just the race, it's the other 23.5 hours that matter. It's not just that 5K, those 15, 16 minutes. It's the rest of your week. When you get that mindset that you're paying attention to everything else in addition to the race, you're going to be successful. You're going to emerge as a better person and a better runner. When I see a runner or a young athlete taking care of their body when they're not running, that tells me that this kid is on the right path.
Love it. Quick fire questions.
Go
You
for
ready
it.
for this?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite Miami sunrise running route?
For me, it's the Everglades. Like if I can get out to the Everglades and watch a sunrise, obviously the beach, but if I can be out there in the Pinelands, Long Pine Key, or down in Flamingo before sunrise, that's magic. You got to jump on your car and head down there. But no, there's no substitute for that experience for me.
Amazing. Let's take it back to the city. Brickell, Miami Beach, or Coconut Grove?
I do think that the pulse of Miami is currently Brickell's. That's where the Baptist Health Brickell Run Club's at. That's the center of it all. I do have to give a shout out to South Beach because that was the original location of our first, I call it modern day running club. It still has magic.
I loved Wynwood, by the way, for the expo. Wynwood was amazing too. Shout out.
Good.
Best spot for cafecito in Miami.
So I'm a Cuban that doesn't drink coffee, but I think you have to have it where it's most authentic. I would go out to Westchester, go out to La Carreta, and hang out by the Ventanita there. And even if you don't drink coffee, get some toast and orange juice and hang out and listen to some older Cuban guys talk about solving the world's problems. That's a lot of fun.
Love it. Humidity or hills?
For me, it's the humidity. The hills are hard to come by. You got to go to Vista View or one of the bridges or even a parking garage. But the humidity, the hotter the better for me. I do prefer to run in the afternoons where the humidity is not as rough. I don't love the morning humidity where it just gets more humid as you get more tired. I much rather get it the other way, which is as the run progresses, I hope there's a little relief. That usually happens 6, 7 o'clock at night. Give me humidity before you give me cold. If you would have said humidity or cold, I would have said humidity.
Got it. Okay. 5K, 10K, half marathon or marathon?
I like the half marathon. Yeah, I like the half marathon.
Favorite food or best meal in Miami? People are going to get mad. Be careful.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm a creature of habit. I'm a runner. I guess by nature, we do things in routine, but I can have more or less the same thing over and over. I'm a Chipotle guy. Now, if it was a specific meal, I like my basic whole wheat pasta with chicken and I'm happy. Not complicated.
Most played song on your playlist?
I don't really have a dedicated playlist, so I just let EDM play on the Pandora station. Or these days, I do enjoy the stuff that John Summit's putting out. It's good running music. I would have to say him right now.
Toughest Miami weather you've ever trained or raced in?
Anytime you're running in June, July, or August, we'll probably check off that box. So almost
Yes.
every day, I have to say.
Almost every day in the summer. Agree. Go-to running shoe right now.
I'm a big Nike Pegasus fan, but as of late, the Vomero has made its way into my bag. They've crushed it with the design of that shoe and how comfortable it is. I still fall back always on my Pegasus.
Love it. Most emotional Miami Marathon moment that you witnessed?
The next one.
The next one. Love it. Can't
I
beat it.
mean, the next one, I see. I'll always remember our first one. There's been so many along the way. I usually wait till the last finisher crosses, whether it's the last finisher or even the fastest finisher. I've seen a lot to inspire. So I couldn't say I'd be able to point at just one.
Favorite mile in the race?
I like mile 17. That's a good one to me. Anything on the Venetian Causeway is awesome. You get that backside view of the skyline. So what is that? People are at 10, right? 10 to 11. So I haven't run it, so it's hard for me to.
You haven't
I mean,
run your own race? I mean,
well,
you've
I've
got a
run.
million things going on.
I've run the course. I've run the
Okay,
course,
you run the okay.
but the course is nothing without the people spectating. Right? That morning, it's different when you have thousands of people lined up along North Miami Avenue or on Ocean Drive or on Biscayne Boulevard. But if I was running it, I'd probably guess it's going to be that 10 to 11 mile mark.
I'm sure your team would forgive you if you wanted to do a half one day
One
just to
day,
get the feeling of
everyone's
it.
talked to me about doing the 25th anniversary, which is next year. But I don't know. I get too nervous. I might pull off on the side of the road and start moving cones and talking to police officers and
You
helping out
deserve
at
it
a
at this
water
point.
station.
If you feel to run it, I think you would totally deserve to take off first and get your glory run. Favorite quote to live by?
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. If you stop, you start thinking too much, fall over. It's like riding a bike. If you put your feet down, you to get momentum again takes you a while. So I tell people I'm going through tough times. Don't stop. If you're going through easy times, don't stop. You're gonna get run over. And all facets for me, it's how I live. I only sleep because I have to.
Shout outs to anybody on your team?
All of them, whether it's Alex DeGracia, Sam, JC, Steph, Garcelle, Oscar, we're small but mighty team that organizes the Miami Marathon. And I have another facet of my life that puts on other races. And there's Anna, there's Zoltan. There's a lot of people that put these things together. So they give me too much credit. I know I'm the face of a lot of these events. It's definitely nothing I do alone. And these days, I probably do more kissing babies and shaking hands than that some of the heavy lifting that the folks on my team and race teams do. Shout out to all of them.
Takes a village. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to you, Jackie. Thank you for the invite and chasing me down. Thank you for being there that night with the medal reveal. Courtney put on a good show there. We'll see you at the next starting line.
Can't wait. What's next for you, Frankie Ruiz? 305 half marathon, a ton of other stuff coming up this year. Anything else that we can give runners an opportunity to look forward?
Events that I'm associated with in the next couple months, besides the run clubs, there's 10 of them now under Baptist Health. You can look those up on werunmiami.com. Besides that, I'm organizing a big event with Breakwater for the Athex Games on Miami Beach. I am hosting a couple races at the different airports here in Miami. Tamiami and Opelika are next couple events coming up. I have a superintendent's 5K that I'm associated with as well with the Miami-Dade County Schools. I've got the Bounce Back from Cancer event that's also in March with Baptist Health. They're dribbling basketballs for
Wait,
14
we're just up to March with this list so
This is all
far?
March. This is all March. Yeah, this is all
Oh my
March.
gosh.
Yeah,
You
I've got
really
another
can't stop,
event.
won't stop.
Yeah, no. Not to mention that Miami's running season is so compressed that you have no choice but to make sure you get it all in now. We've got Wings for Life World Run that also is coming up with Red Bull. I know I'm missing a few events. Clio, which is a climate environment organization, doing a race with them at the Underline. Hey, I've got just a few.
My gosh, that's just a few. So werunmiami.com is
Yeah.
the hub for everything.
Pretty easy to find me. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today,
you.
Frankie. Can't stop, won't stop. You are like a machine, endurance runner, leader, community builder, coach, just so many. I'm just so grateful for your time and insights. Thank you for
You're welcome.
joining.
Stop.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Jackie. See you soon.